Welcome back to the channel. This is Mellow TV. Oh wow, what a way to. It's fine. It's good that we actually won a game yesterday. Big win for Chelsea Football Club. The Maresca boys are finally winning games again. And to be honest with you, this one really was needed because Maresca, you know, we won by a lot of Leicester City fans when we first got linked with Maresca that there comes a time in the season where we come to a bit of a lull, where things kind of slow down. And for a lot of Chelsea fans, we dreaded that moment. We knew there had to be some validity to some of their claims. There's no way that they were just making everything up, right? Because they knew something we didn't know, that there comes a time where some of his tactics become stale, that sometimes he doesn't make the necessary changes to freshen up his team. And other opposition managers begin to figure him out over time, which we've come to realize as Chelsea fans, seeing that we went through a series of games where ordinarily we could have wiped the floor with a lot of the teams we played. The caliber of teams we played were in no way doesn't correlate with the kind of results we ended up with, because we looked at those run of games and thought, if we are able to do what we're expected to do as a big team, we will be putting ourselves in a position where if Liverpool drops any points, we could potentially be ahead of them at this point, and we or be tied with them, or be in a very comfortable position where if we strengthen in the market, we put ourselves in a very strong position for a real title challenge. And I know Maresca downplayed a lot of the title challenge talk, but it's kind of ironic that we saw why we're not in a title race once Fofana went down. And I wanted to just preface a lot of my thoughts today with the partnership defensively being the downfall of our season up to this point. So we started this season not knowing what the defensive partnership was going to be. We didn't know if it was going to be Colwill with Tosin, or Fofana with Tosin, or Tosin with Colwill with Fofana. There's a lot of that uncertainty that we noticed in the preseason. Neither partnership looked good in the preseason. It seemed like Colwill looked slow. He looked like he couldn't track him in the preseason games. They looked like they did not care. So come first day of the season, and I saw Colwill and Fofana as our starting partnership defensively, I thought I really didn't see it in preseason. So, and then we didn't know who was going to be our goalkeeper either, because we had spent so much money on goalkeepers, and at that point we still didn't have a definitive number one. So with Robert Sanchez, with Petrovic being loaned over to Strasbourg, and Robert Sanchez being given the number one position, at least for now, and when we still went out and got Jurgensen, it wasn't very clear who the number one was going to be. And eventually it turned out to be Robert Sanchez, which did not fill any Chelsea fans with confidence. We've seen enough of Robert Sanchez to this point, and nothing about him gives you any sense of confidence. So seeing that we're going to be persistent with Robert Sanchez, and then that partnership of Fofana, who's been out for so long with all kinds of injuries, the ACL injury, with the muscular injuries, the long recovery processes he's been through, the fact that he was even expected to be playing with some pain throughout. That defensive, we always knew our defense was going to be suspect, and that's proven the case all through. And then we finally had one thing I would give Maresca credit for was that he understood that this partnership was new and there was going to be a teething process. There was going to be a period of adjustment, which we were all in for. We buckled up for as Chelsea fans, and with a little bit of consistency, that partnership began to really have some solidity. Still shipping in some goals at times, but they knew what they were doing together. I think it all came together in that. I think it was a game against Aston Villa, which we won 3-0. Just that partnership looked really solid. Aside from the chance by Ollie Watkins early in the game where Fofana kind of made a mistake, which allowed for Ollie Watkins to go clean through, which then allowed for Robert Sanchez to pull out one of the most remarkable, a really good save, right? Ball was shot directly at him, but he still had to make the save. But aside from that partnership was beginning to click, which made it very, which is why it was so unfortunate when Fofana went down with that injury. And since then, we've not been able to keep clean sheets. We've also not been able to have that solidity and that recovery pace that Fofana gives you. And Fofana, to me, had his own deficiency as well. Just his ability to turn on the ball, and there were times that he kind of got caught in the build-up play, and forced us into some errors as well. But there was one thing he had, which was his recovery pace and his aggression. We didn't have that. We lost that when he went down. And then the makeshift defense of Tosin, which Tosin himself has remarkable qualities that even Fofana doesn't possess. Tosin comes in, and I remember the game against Brentford. The game was flawless until that Mbeumo's goal. Mbeumo comes, Tosin was splitting lines and commanding defensively. His passing is even better than Fofana's. He's receiving from Robert Sanchez, giving him open passing lanes, which made it easy for Sanchez to do what he does well. I don't think Sanchez is a bad goalkeeper, but he doesn't. If he has to make decisions on the fly, he's going to make the wrong ones. But if it's instinctive, if it's clear to him what he needs to do, he'll do it well. Which was which made sense. So when Tosin came in, he looked better. He looked more comfortable until the deficiencies started showing. That Mbeumo's goal made it clear to us why Tosin didn't start ahead of Fofana. The way Mbeumo burnt both Colwill and Tosin for that goal, which made it nervy at the end, spelt that teams knew that they can come at us. They could counter us. They could go at us with pace. We were vulnerable. The partnership also would need some time to come together and work together. Unfortunately for them, I don't think that Maresca had the same faith he had in Tosin Colwill, that Tosin Colwill partnership as he did Fofana Colwill partnership. So when there were hiccups, the game against Ipswich where we lost 2-0, and the other games like Crystal Palace. No, not Crystal Palace, because that came later with Achampong. But some of the other games where we weren't able to win games. The game against Ipswich, and there's another one sandwiched in the Fulham game where we lost 2-1. That was it. He was done. He never really believed in that partnership to begin with, so he wasn't going to persist with it. So he brought in an 18-year-old Josh Achampong to come take the Tosin role. And I didn't think Tosin was the problem. That's the crazy part. I thought that Colwill, to me, was even more of the weak link in that defense. The reason I say that is that what Cole does well is his aerial presence. He's very good aerially, but he doesn't offer a threat as a goal scorer. Tosin gives you that. We could see that from day one when Tosin plays. From corner kicks, we look dangerous to Tosin. He's an underrated finisher, as we've come to expect now. With his goals in the Conference League and the goal yesterday, and he's just, there were games against Southampton where he was hitting the post, where he could have scored goals as well. We've seen him a lot of times in the Conference League where he's really testing goalkeepers. And we had that with Thiago Silva over the years. Fofana himself is actually a pretty decent header of the ball, from set pieces. But I believe he's probably a little bit hesitant now with all the injuries to be jumping at the ball as he used to. But Cole doesn't offer any of that. He doesn't score goals. He does not really assist. He does the line splitting pass thing. But obviously, he wasn't going to be dropped when things were going haywire. But I'm so glad that we recalled Chalobah. So let's just talk about Chalobah's situation for a quick minute. So Chalobah early in the season came on, was thoroughly disrespected in the preseason. He wasn't given a chance. He was told that he was surplus to requirement. They thought they could make some money on his sale, and that's what they did. They sent him out to Crystal Palace in hopes that he was going to do well enough so that they could sell him over to them. And for some reason, they thought that he was inferior to Gay. I don't think he's inferior to Gay, personally. Gay, a former Chelsea academy product. Now we're gonna try to, we thought that he's inferior to him. I don't think so. Our late run last year coincided with Chalobah coming into to the team. Who can forget the pass to Madueke late last year, where Madueke was able to then square it over to I believe it was Nicholas Jackson. His defensive ability is calm on the ball. His striking, his passing, his strength, recovery pace. Like yesterday, he wasn't even playing his preferred position on the right. He played on the left, and we just looked good with him there. All the threat came on the other side. But then you combine now with Tosin and Chalobah, what you have is good passers of the ball. You have the recovery pace of Chalobah. You have the passing that Tosin offers. And you have two goal threats from corner kicks and free kicks. And these days, Tosin doesn't even need a set piece to score. His finish yesterday was very confident and assured. I don't think a lot of Chelsea fans would expect for Nicholas Jackson to strike the ball in that position the way Tosin did. And then that raises a different question for a different video altogether, because we don't expect our striker to strike the ball with the right foot, with the correct foot at the right moment. Tosin looked like he could do that every day. Put him in that position every day, he'll score 9 out of 10 times. So they offer a scoring threat. Chalobah should have recorded a goal as well yesterday. For some, Madueke goes and steals his goal, but that's the currency of a striker. You gotta score. That's what you get paid for, as he told Tosin later in the game, but he told Chalobah later. He said Chalobah should still be happy. He at least got an assist on his return back to Stamford Bridge, which I'm sure he is, but it would be sweeter to have gotten a goal, but who cares? He was man of the match. He was the best player on that field. He had the most touches. He had the healthiest contribution to our play yesterday. and it was noticeable. We saw Maresca go over to him at the end of the game and hugged him. He looked like a proud father. There's a lot of conversation about the decision to let him go to Chalobah, to Crystal Palace, and I've seen tweets about Maresca not really wanting to let him go but it was a board decision. Who cares? He's been badly treated, and I hope that he's able to continue this form. Because we know he has quality. He's very accomplished. Some guys just don't have any luck. Every time that he has it could burst on the scene. Either it gets an injury, or the coach doesn't believe in him, or in this case, they're trying to get some pure profit off of him. It's ridiculous. If Maresca can solidify this defense and persist with Chalobah in some form defensively, and Reece James continues to keep healthy, I believe this can be the beginning of something special for the rest of the season. We can actually find our way back into solidifying top 4. But he's going to have to persist and trust in this partnership, at least in the foreseeable future. We already know that Fofana isn't coming back. So make a decision. You gotta make a decision. Are you gonna persist? Or are you gonna keep chopping and changing, bringing in 18-year-olds? You're bringing in all these like young kid. Anselmino came back. I don't think he believes in him either. Let some of these guys. I think we need some adults defensively, and that's what Tosin and Chalobah bring us. Adults. They're probably the oldest guys on our team, both of them, along with Reece James. Right, so let these adults play defensively. They've been there. They've seen it. Chalobah has been around the block for a while. He's not phased. When stuff is going crazy, there was a picture of him looking at Robert Sanchez when he committed the howler for Crystal Palace for Wolves equalizer yesterday. He's probably looking at him like, dude, you've been around. What are you doing? But I am so delighted that we got that win yesterday. We're finally back with a win. That run of games was depressing as a Chelsea fan. But when you get a win like that, that could be the springboard that launches you to a run of positive results. Our next fixture against Man City will not be any easier. And it's come out of the worst time possible because Man City has recently recovered their form. They've just dispatched Ipswich 6-0 away from home in their last game. And they've also made some recent signings, which I'm sure would reinvigorate this team. And post-divorce Pep has got to be a menace to deal with. So I don't expect that it's going to be an easy game for us. I would have loved to play them about 6 games ago. But here we are. But a lot of credit has to go out to Maresca for swallowing his pride, bringing Chalobah back. Reece James had a good game yesterday, a phenomenal game. We've missed him. When he's healthy, best right back in the league. Madueke looked really good. His cross for Cucurella's go-ahead goal was very pivotal, was important. Kieran Dewsbury-Hall did his thing too. Do I think that Dewsbury-Hall midfield with Caicedo against Man City is going to be the best option? No. With Lavia and Enzo likely to miss that game, we might still need to recall Andre Santos, but I'm going to leave that for another video. Let me know what your thoughts in the comment about our win yesterday. It is nice to finally be able to say we're 3-point collectors. Leave your thoughts in the comment. I'll be back with more videos shortly. Peace.